In the headlines, a trade unionist calls for a review of Dominica's labor laws. Executive Director of the Employers Federation debunks concerns by WAWU, and some of the police force transportation problems answered. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for details. First up, a call to review Dominica's labor laws, which have remained the same for almost 4 decades, as the country observed Labor Day on Monday.
Labor Day is an annual holiday to celebrate the achievements of workers and has its origins in the labor union movement. Secretary-Treasurer of the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, WAWU, says there are several concerns affecting the labor movement in the country.
We must express concerns that our labor laws have not been reviewed or revised in the past 39 years. Some of the laws referred to include annual vacation. It cannot be just that a worker who have given 25 or more years service to one company enjoys only 3 weeks vacation compared to one who have just given 6 years. It cannot be fair that after a worker gives to an employer 30 years and more of one's life working for that employer, that he or she leaves the employ of that employer on reaching the retirement age without a severance or a compensation package from his employer.
Augustus says the union will continue to advocate for the better treatment of employees around the country.
We have already called for both the review of the redundancy formula to delete the ceiling of pay which a worker can receive from his employer, provision for the inclusion of the agency shop clause in our labor legislation. We will continue to make the call for our annual subvention to be given to the trade union movement to be used for education and training exclusively of the membership of the trade unions. We continue to call for the introduction of national health coverage in order to reduce the incidence of dependency for health reasons on government.
The Secretary-Treasurer says there are several factors which make the proper representation of WAWU's membership a continuing struggle.
A struggle that is frustrated by the tardy response and action by both the Department of Labor and some employers in Dominica. We are all aware that jobs are the #1 priority before the government of Dominica. Therefore, when a huge employer like the Dominica Coconut Products, Colgate Palmolive, closes its doors and places more than 100 workers on the breadline, then such has serious consequences for the social and economic fabric of our country.
Augustus also called for a proper tribunal to be set up to hear and resolve the disputes of workers. WAWU also contributed to the Erica relief effort by giving financial assistance to 6 of its members who were severely affected by Tropical Storm Erica.
In related news, Executive Director of the Dominica Employers Federation is questioning the accuracy of Curtis Augustus' statements, adding that DEF is fully represented on the Industrial Relations Tribunal Board. Head of WAWU, Curtis Augustus, has been raising concern of DEF's withdrawal of a representative on the tribunal board since 2015. But the Federation's Executive Director, Ashel Joseph, says there is currently no vacancy on the tribunal board for a DEF representative.
I know of an instance in, I think it was November 2014, when Senator Alvin Bernard was the Minister for Labor. The Dominica Employers Federation did write Senator Bernard asking for the withdrawal of one of our 4 members on the panel. And eventually that member was withdrawn and replaced. So it's over a year right now since that has happened. So I am not too sure why the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union would want to refer to that particular incident as the reason for backlog of cases, and even cases that were currently being heard by that particular tribunal where we withdrew the member. The minister could reassign the cases to the 3 other tribunals. So I think it is left to the Ministry of Labor to manage those 4 tribunals and ensure that cases are heard speedily.
Joseph says it would be unfair to blame the DEF for any current delay in hearing of tribunal cases, unless he says Augustus has data that he is unaware of.
Bear in mind that the the Industrial Relations Board, which is the proper name of that body, is made up of 12 members. 4 members constitute the workers' panel, 4 constitute the employers' panel, and 4 constitute the chairman's panel. Now, when the matter gets to the minister and it is required that a tribunal be established, the minister selects 1 member from each of these panels. And these 3 people collectively constitute a tribunal. So, 4 tribunals can be running concurrently and addressing disputes. So if one tribunal were not to meet because there's a vacancy in its numbers, there are 3 other tribunals that the minister has access to in order to hear those cases.
The human resource expert also supports the need for a review of the functioning of the tribunal system, including looking at the constitution of the board.
There used to be what we call an Industrial Relations Advisory Committee, and that is provided for in law. There should always be an Industrial Relations Advisory Committee appointed for the purpose of reviewing labor legislation practices, international conventions ratified in Dominica, and so on. That has not been appointed and therefore not been sitting. And that is the principal mechanism to advise the minister and cabinet on labor relation issues as well as legislative matters. I am sure if that committee was meeting, recommendations regarding the sitting of the tribunal and other matters would definitely be on the table.
A Salisbury man escaped serious injury after he was shot on Saturday afternoon at Mero. Eden Samuel Jr. of Salisbury was shot in his back and has since been discharged from hospital after evaluation. Police say Marlon Kurt Romaine of Mero has been charged with possession of firearm and shooting with intent as a result. The incident happened after 2 p.m. on Saturday. In related police news, police are on the lookout for an individual who at the time was masked and attacked a resident of Springfield on Sunday afternoon. A monetary reward is usually up for grabs through Crime Stoppers Dominica for information on a crime.
Philip Herman Roll, male adult of Springfield, reported that one individual wearing a mask and armed with a knife and a piece of steel robbed him of 200 Eastern Caribbean dollars and one Samsung cellular value 3,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars. The scene was processed by the Crime Scenes Unit of the Criminal Investigations Department. Investigations are ongoing. Anyone with information which can assist the police in the investigations can contact the Criminal Investigations Department at telephone numbers 266-5164, 266-5165, and 266-5119, or Crime Stoppers Dominica at telephone number 1-800-8477.
Police officers have been challenged to protect and serve the country more effectively. Here's more.
The call came from Minister of Justice when he spoke at a ceremony to hand over vehicles to the Camp of Dominica Police Force over the weekend.
And I'm challenging you today, especially the officers, superintendents of police, with responsibilities for divisions, to show your worth. I'm not satisfied that you're putting your all into the job, that you're paid to do. And the people of Dominica deserve better. Police presence is not meant only for Roseau. It is meant for the entire national landscape. And I want to make reference to a class of people I shall characterize as super predators. The super predators are those drug lords and criminals who recruit young men to commit crimes. The police, therefore, must descend on those super predators. And they are the greatest threat to our civilization.
The vehicles, totaling $330,000 and purchased locally, will be deployed to the Special Service Unit, Portsmouth Police Station, and Roseau Police Station.
Let me say to you that the vehicles are to serve the people of the Commonwealth of Dominica. I am calling on you, the supervisors, middle management, to ensure that this is done. I am also calling on you, the supervisors and managers, to ensure that the vehicles are properly cared for and maintained at the highest level.
Blackmore says the government was able to source the funds to purchase the vehicles despite the setbacks caused by Tropical Storm Erica.
These free vehicles are being made available to you at a time when we're trying to build back better post-Erica. We have tremendous challenges. That notwithstanding, the Honorable Prime Minister, using his good self and his good office, upon my request, did not hesitate to make the money available so that we could have with you today free new vehicles. It demonstrates, therefore, the level of significance this administration places on the tremendous task that you have to perform to serve and to protect.
Coming up, how Gadakan companies ended up with cash flow problems, that and more next. Welcome back. Public Relations Officer of Jacques Gadakan Companies says a resolution between government and the company on outstanding payments will put the company in a better position to settle employees' salaries.
Approximately 24 of the company's employees are in limbo since both its Collio and Layu quarries shut down without notice 6 months ago. In a letter dated January 22, 2016 to the Director of Dominica Social Security, management of West Indies Aggregates Limited, owned by Jacques Gadakan, has asked to allow it more time to bounce back from the impact of Tropical Storm Erica on its Collio quarry and office. In that letter, the company stated that it would start repayment of Social Security contributions when it starts producing and selling material. That followed a letter to the company from DSS in December 2015 on the subject of its outstanding contributions. The company's PRO Evans John told Channel 5 News late payments for a project it was contracted to since 2008, the Canefield to Melville Hall Road improvement, weighed down its financial position.
Payments had to be made by government. From there, late payments were made and the work was slowed down. However, we did not suffer all that problem during the first phase of that road. But on lot 2, which is from Pont-Cassé to Melvin Hall, it became worse because it was it was a French grant funding agency provided funds for that lot 2. And there was a long process in payment. But the process had to go through the ministry, France, back for payment. The payment is being made in Dominica to Gadakan. So there was this kind of delay. And also, the work was very challenging. So by then, problems start confronting the company.
Channel 5 News is in possession of another copy of a letter which the company wrote to the Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports dated June 24, 2015, requesting a release of overdue payments on various projects. The detailed statement of overdue payments at that time was about $9,080,000.
The project on the whole was a VAT duty-free project, duty-free, but you had to pay VAT, and the duty would have to be refunded, the VAT would have to be refunded. Because of the late payment by government, the company was being penalized for not paying on time, right? So taxes on time. So you pay a penalty. When the certificate is approved and payment is made, then VAT takes from the money, take the payment. So it reduces your cash flow. And that is where our problem really started. And the amount built up in the millions. To this date, the government still owes Gadakan millions of dollars. I do not know the exact amount. At one time, it was in the region of 12 million.
Management has engaged an external auditor to look into its financial affairs, while operations are expected to resume by June. Idona John Baptist, Channel 5 News.
In other news, government may want to strengthen practice on using science to inform their policies and projects on planning for natural hazards.
That's the advice from a US-based environmental scientist following a recent training on disaster risk reduction. Dominicans are among those from OECS countries that have been trained in developing ecosystem disaster risk reduction measures. The intention is to empower technical experts to be better able to speak on disaster risk reduction so that they can train others in their respective departments. Essentially, the OECS Commission, in partnership with ACP Brussels, are arming more foot soldiers in the OECS region to better articulate disaster management to lessen challenges faced by disasters.
We're also looking at how we can make use of, rather than hard engineering solutions, we can make use of ecosystems now to help prevent disasters from happening.
Disaster risk management and reduction within this region is becoming more important because of the onset of climate change and the geographical characteristics of the islands. Environmental scientist Dr. Deborah Brosnan says communities and decision makers should be engaged on how they should consider nature in disaster management. One such case that she's incorporated this and has done well is at a bay in St. Bart's.
It was a tourism beach that was eroding to the point where most of the sand had disappeared and wasn't coming back. And so the people who were living along that beach came up with the idea to build a seawall to protect themselves against the rising sea level, but particularly storms and waves because the beach had gone. And we met with them and met with the government and said, why don't we step back and take a look at this beach and see whether there's another solution? Because if we build a seawall, you may be protected for a period of time, but you will have no beach. You'll just have the seawall. And so what we did was we analyzed the pattern of flow in the sea. We looked at the conditions. We looked at the fact there had been a sand dune ecosystem before. And then we said we have an idea, which is let's build up the sand into the shape of a sand dune that used to exist. And let's create all of the sand dune plants. Let's create a whole ecosystem that used to exist and that's now gone. And that's what we did. And we did in 1 year what nature does in 25. That beach has now withstood 4 major hurricanes. And so the community got behind it and it worked.
The people of Grand Forks have been commended for strides they have made in ensuring their development. Andrea Louis reports.
Parliamentary representative for the Grand Forks constituency was addressing the community's Achievement Day activities over the weekend. The Member of Parliament cited the new Grand Forks water supply, new Grand Forks playing field, road infrastructural improvement, supplies of input to farmers and advancements in the education sector as some of the noteworthy accomplishments in the community.
I must admit that these achievements have transformed the lives of our people in Grand Forks, either socially or economically, through the improvement in education, health, and improved and reliable water supply, improved road access, care of the elderly, and improvement in agriculture. I call on the youth to take up more leadership roles and responsibilities in this community. Let us come together and make Grand Forks the envy of community success and development.
Residents of Grand Forks have been encouraged to take advantage of the opportunities to further develop themselves through the small business sector.
The government of Dominica has put great focus and has been investing tremendous resources in ensuring that enterprise continue to thrive and that the rural economy continue to expand. It does that through investment in agriculture, in tourism, and in enterprise through small business.
Government reaffirmed its commitment to completing roadworks in the Grand Forks constituency.
We'll do everything possible in due time to once and for all address this difficult portion of the road from Odalis leading to Rosalie. We shall ensure that you have a top-class road, my dear friends. It's going to cost a lot of money. And you cannot just simply build a road like that overnight. We have to ensure we do all the requisite investigative work, the proper design, my dear friends, and to give you a road that is second to none. And just to give you an insight as to what the cost of that road may be, you're talking in a region of over $50 million. It's a lot of money, but we shall get that money, and we shall ensure that you have the best road in Grand Fond.
An exhibition and the gala also formed part of Achievement Day activities in Grand Fond. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
That's news, your sports highlights. Next. Hello everyone and thanks for joining us. First up in sports, there were wins for Najigo Northern Stars and Dominica Cricket Academy in the Dominica Cricket Association's leagues on the weekend. At Benjamin's Park, the efforts of Kevin James helped put Najigo in the lead when he posted 134 to help his team reach 262. Vincent Fabian added 47. John Fabian picked up 6 for 60 for Summits. Summits in reply were bowled out for 92. Following on, they scored 145. John Fabian scored 81. Meantime, at Botanic Gardens, Dominica Cricket Academy registered another win when they defeated Marino Blasters. Final scores: DCA 182 and 198, Blasters 88 and 146. On to football now, where 6 teams registered wins while 1 team failed to show up for play in the National Leagues of the Dominica Football Association on the weekend. Gerald George has more.
On Friday, Rachel's Point Michelle edged out Club Loubier 3-2 at the Puri playing field. Elton Lafelle found the back of the nets twice for Point Michelle, with Yannick Regis scoring 1. Olis Owadon and Kyle Del Sol scored for Club Loubier. While at the Newtown playing field, Baffin State Football Club hammered Soca Strikers 6-1. Delzel Lawrence and Derrickson McDonald scored for Baffin State, with 1 each coming from Fitzjolly and Joel Prince. Michael Hector got the lone goal for Soca Strikers. On Saturday, Wood City Strikers edged out Nemesis United 2-1 at the Benjamin Park. Rion Coffey and Nashon Dixon scored for Wood City, with Dwight Thomas scoring for Nemesis United. And at the Newtown playing field, Haitian Angels defeated Wayne George Academy 2-0. Meantime, in the Domlec Women's League on Sunday, Mao Soca Strikettes defeated Bomber Starlights 1-0 in the first match of a doubleheader at the Newtown playing field. Michelin Morgan scored for Soca Strikettes. In the second match, defending champions New India Goodwill Runners and Dive Dominica Harlem United played to a 2-all draw. Rosilia Regis and Mariah Esprit scored for the reigning champs, with Ali Jatit and Naima Africa scoring for Harlem United. And at the Benjamin Park, Wood City Strikers failed to show up for their match against New Generation Sports Club.
On the basketball scene now, where defending champions Detroit Blazers lost their second match in the 2016 Flow DABA League on the weekend. Craig St. Rose and Julian Isles top scored for Prowlers with 29 and 23 respectively to help their team reach 85. Blazers, in a losing effort, scored 73 with Thomas Felix scoring 13. In the other match, E.H. Charles Crossover defeated Elijah Law Chambers Thunderers 79-40. McCray Edwards had a game high of 22 while Lindell Mayers added 15 for Crossover. Thunderers' top scorer was Craig Angle with 13. Still in local sports, DASPA made light work of the Petit Tavan Erickson team, beating them 125 runs in the Big Edge Gifford Tues Softball Championships on Sunday. DASPA batted first and posted 214 for 9. Taj Tavernier scored 63, Clem Nicholas 50 and Casimir Benjamin 39. Clary Hillier took 4 for 28 and Morick Francis 2 for 30. DASPA's bowling attack held Petit Tavan to a reply of 89 all-out in 14.3 overs. Sherlon Antoine and Odell Hamilton scored 24 and 14 respectively. Nigel John Lewis took 4 for 14, John Matthew 2 for 17 and Kurt Martin 2 for 22. More in sports, the game of rounders might see some changes soon that could mean a difference in gameplay. This, according to President of the National Rounders Committee, Abraham Brown. In a recent press release, Brown stated that Rounders League representatives from the United Kingdom are planning to visit soon to compare styles in order to make it more regionally and internationally recognized. This, along with the adoption of the Dominica Rounders Association, were highlights from the annual general meeting. Meantime, the executive elected to run the association for the next 2 years are Abraham Brown, President, Reggie Henry, Vice President, Vernice Coffey, Secretary, Juliana Coffey, Treasurer, Amelia Thomas, Assistant Secretary Treasurer, Roger Francis, Public Relations Officer, and committee members Verlin Moses, Erna St. Louis, and Shireen Daru. Dubic Strikers received the championship trophy and $800, while runner-up National Cooperative Credit Union Domset Co-Stars received $400. The 2016 season is expected to begin on July 3. Back on the cricket scene, Delhi Daredevils defeated Gujarat Lions by 8 wickets with 16 balls remaining in the 31st episode of the Indian Premier League on Tuesday. Lions batted first and scored 149 for 7. Danish Kathrik added 53 and Dwayne Smith 15. Delhi in reply scored 150 for 2. Rishabh Pant scored 69 while Quinton de Kock chipped in with 46. Finally, in sports, 6 teams topped their game in the Kubuli Chebesao 300 Domino League on Sunday. In Game 1, Homeboys finished first with 85 those 3 points. Game 2 had Cost You Less in the lead with 77 those 3 points, Execute 75 those 2 points, and Hurt Them 61 those 1 point. In Game number 3, High Roller top scored with 81 those 3 points ahead of Kings Hill Power 75 those 2 points. Meantime, in other games, Execute finished first with 85 those 3 points, Remix won their game by 6 points, and 007 had 85 those 3 points in their game. That's all the sports for now. Join us again next time. Your weather report is next.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am Janelle Macpherson. Weak instability today resulted in multi-layered clouds across the region. Visible satellite imagery showed cloudy skies across Dominica today. Radar imagery indicated scattered showers across the region. The weather for tonight, mostly cloudy with scattered showers. Similar conditions are expected tomorrow. Seas tomorrow are expected to be slight to moderate with waves peaking up to 5 feet. Looking ahead for the next few days, cloudy skies and scattered showers are expected with a slight improvement expected by Friday. Throughout the Caribbean tomorrow, weak instability and available low-level moisture will result in cloudy skies and scattered showers across most of the islands. On the international cities forecast, partly cloudy skies and some showers expected in New York, thunderstorm activity in Miami and Caracas, fair weather conditions in London and Beijing. Sunrise tomorrow, 5:40 a.m., sunset 6:24 p.m. For up-to-date weather information, visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. A trade unionist calls for a review of Dominica's labor laws. Executive Director of the Employers Federation debunks concerns by WAWU, and some of the police force transportation problems answered. Feel free to contact us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube page. On behalf of the production team, I am Kenny Williams. To our viewers around the world, thanks for watching. Join us tomorrow.